is up, guys? For this video we're just going to be doing some regular maintenance on the truck. I got some transmission fluid, oil, and just a couple other little things that I'm going to be doing to it. But before we go and do anything, I need to go out and buy kerosene as usual so I can fill that thing up. I did get 2 new tires put on the rear of this. I just bought like cheap Goodyear all seasons for it, whatever the Viva crap is, and then had the front 2 rebalanced. And it drives a lot better. I got those 2 crappy tires. The one had the giant leak in it, and then the other one had that gouge on the side of it. I think I showed you guys that once or twice. Those 2 tires are gone. I got the 2 better of the 4 in the front, just rebalanced, and 2 brand new ones in the back. Let's go out and get some kerosene so we can get started working on this thing. Alright, I'm back. I've just got everything set up. I've got like the light underneath the truck and everything. Got the drip pan down here and the catch pan as well. So we're ready to go ahead and just drain all this stuff out. I'm going to try to do this without having to jack the truck up so that everything is sitting nice and level, just to make sure that fluid will come out. Tighten that back up real quick, put gloves on. I don't feel like getting burning hot ATF all over my hands. We'll see how nasty this fluid is that comes out of it. And hopefully, I'm kind of hoping that it comes out looking really nasty, because it means, first of all, the detergents have done their job. And then it'll also mean that the reason it still isn't shifting quite right, it's shifting better, but it's not shifting quite right. And the reason for that would be that the fluid still isn't how it should be. After this, we'll do the oil. And then I think we're going to go upgrade some lights later. Oh yeah, there it is. I guess I should have pulled the dipstick tube out of it so it'll drain a little bit faster, but sweet, that's out. I don't see any leaks around that either. Means that my welds are holding up good. Let's just set that down there. That looks kind of red coming out of it. It's got kind of a darkness to it, but it could just be how dark it is under the truck as well that's making it look that way. Let's pull this out of here. There we go. Just let it hang up here so I can suck some air in while it's draining out. We'll see what it looks like when I go to pour it out, but it's already almost done, so let that finish dripping out, and then we'll see what that fluid looked like after the second change. And this thing's probably its entire life, and then fill it back up and then go change the oil, and then maybe we'll mess with some lights and run to the junkyard later. Ooh, I got some on my hands. Not that bad though. Look at that. I'm glad I changed the oil early. It's pretty gross. Alright, all the fluids are done draining now, or at least they're to drips slow enough that it's time to go and put the plugs back in. Got them both in my hand. So I'm going to go get these threaded back in and then get both of those pans pulled out of there and then check and see what the fluid looked like. And go fill them back up. Make sure that the transmission is at the proper fluid level, put it in neutral, let it run, and then I gotta run out to the hardware store and get some self-tappers, and then we can go mess around with the lights on this a little bit. Alright, I've got all the fluids out here. This is the ATF, that's just a motor oil, old filter sitting here. I still need to go and put the new filter on, but I wanted to go ahead and get these fluids transferred into their containers before I end up flipping one upside down and spilling all over the place. So we're going to go ahead and look and see what the ATF looks like real fast. I don't have like a big 5-quart container because for some reason ATF doesn't come in one of those. All I've got is the little baby containers from last time. Oh god. Yeah. It's red, but it's not as red as it should be. That's all we're getting into that container. On to the next one. All. Ooh. Nope, not quite. Do I want to push my luck? Yeah. Come on, take it. Oh, you bitch. Well, now that's done. I'll transfer the oil, and then there's some nasty. There's still brake dust in this container. I'll transfer the oil over into its container after I get the oil filter on and fill that. And I'll clean this up, get all the caps put on these. We'll go drive it and see how it does. Alright, I got the truck backed out, hit a little spill here, so I went and poured cat litter down on that. Let it warm up for just a second, get some of that oil, circulated a little bit, and go out to the hardware store and get some bolts. And I also started this thing just to let it run for a little while because it's been sitting for a couple weeks now. So I'm going to let that thing run, just get all the way up to operating temp, shut it off, close doors, and run out to the hardware store, get some bolts, and then we'll start working on lights. Alright, I am back. I went and grabbed bolts. They're in this bag right here. I got 2 self-tappers and then 2 like bolt and nuts. I'm going to use the bolt and nut for the ground and then self-tapper just for the other hole to mount these up, because I'm going to wire these up as secondary brake lights and secondary turn signals, basically, since my turn signal and brake light are the same thing. I'm going to wire them in, and I'm just going to sit them right here underneath of where the taillight is and just bolt them in right there and then tap off of wires, which will work really nice. And I just went and fixed my trailer wiring, so I went and bought one of these. This is an extension. And what's nice about this is that I ended up getting, for the price of like what it cost for just one pigtail, I ended up with 2 pigtails, and the one I'll just save because this 3 light thing, I don't really like that, but just in case I do ever decide to use it, the plug on this one is corroded pretty bad, and this plug is better because it's got like a better protectant on it, so I can use this on that. Or if a trailer has a bad pigtail on it or something, I've got one laying around that I can use. Took the other end and cut the old end off of mine because mine was rotted pretty bad. I tried cleaning it, couldn't get it. So if I can find the spot right here, you can see the butt connectors a little bit. Right up on top, you can see the butt connectors, and there's the new plug on the bottom. And then I just took this middle third brake light basically, and I wrapped the wires up around the hitch and then plugged them in so they aren't gonna like fall anywhere or drag on the ground or anything, which is good. And pretty happy with all of that. I may find some better way to like tuck these wires up at some point in the future, but for now this works great. And I've got plenty of wire if I ever do have a trailer hooked up to this I can use. And now that functions as a third brake light and a running light like it's supposed to, so it's got a dimmer and a bright setting on it. Before it would sometimes it would work, but every now and then it would hit bumps and it would move and it would lose connection and it wouldn't work. I did have to rerun my ground for the trailer wiring, and I just because the ground quit working for some reason, so I just took it and I self-tapped it to the back bumper, and it works right there, and you can't really see it. And now trailer wiring all works like it's supposed to. I went and tested it on that because that has a left turn signal, right turn signal, brake light, and running light, so it uses all 4 functions, and that thing worked like it's supposed to. That thing's just really dirty, and I had to kind of mess with the plug to make it function all right because that just got a bunch of corrosion on that. But I got it to work, so that means if I ever do plug a trailer in, everything should work, or at least we'll know that it's not the truck that has the issue, it's a trailer. So now that that's all done, I'm going to go pull the taillights off and get these installed real quick. That way I have an extra turn signal and brake light on each side, since I've had issues with the sockets and stuff on these. They're really sketchy. You guys will see that when I go and pull them out. And eventually I want to get the later tail lights. So there's 2 different style tail lights that came on these trucks. The later models use a different pigtail plug or a different plug to go into it, and the earlier ones use a different one from the later ones. And the ones on the earlier trucks like this have metal sockets that rust out and fall apart. And I actually bought the plastic later style plugs, and they would fit, except they don't clear the back end of the taillight. The taillight kind of sticks out in the back of it and gets in the way of it going into place. So I'd have to convert it over or buy newer style taillights, which don't look any different except for on the back end that you don't see, so that I could use those plugs. So in the future I'm just going to go get entirely new taillight harnesses for either side and new taillights, or junkyard taillights probably. Put those in so I have the new plastic style taillights, and I can use the better 1157 bulbs and maybe put LEDs in it at some point, because I have an LED blinker in the truck now that I can run LEDs on, so I may just convert it to LEDs. But I want to have multiple extra turn signals and brake lights. That's why I wanted that down there, and I wanted that because now if Like I'm driving and any one of these bulbs goes out, I've only got one of the other left. So if one brake light or turn signal goes out, I don't have a turn signal at all over here, and then I don't have a brake light over there. So if I'm slowing down and using the other turn signal, people might not even know I'm slowing down, which isn't safe, not a good idea. That's why later vehicles, they made it mandatory, the DOT made it mandatory for the third brake light to be on newer vehicles. My 96 had the third brake light in the tailgate, but this one's 92. It wasn't a thing yet, so it doesn't have it. You get those wired in real quick. We'll test them out, see how they look, and then probably run out to the junkyard tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to make it out there today, so that'll probably be about it for this video, and then sometime tomorrow we'll go out to the junkyard, get some parts, and have some more work to do. Alright, well, I got everything done. I got those two lights installed. They work pretty well and they don't look too bad. I got this one over here, it's kind of crooked because this entire corner's bent. I may go and adjust it just slightly. I'm a little bit upset because that bulb is slightly different from that one. That one's got 2 LEDs in it and that one's got a strip of 5 in it. And I didn't notice when I bought them because they had the same packaging and everything. So I may go get something different, or in the future I may just get rid of these. I want to put a roll pan on this fairly soon, so I may just delete those and then put the roll pan on and put like some sort of light on the roll pan to basically serve as the same function that those are. But that'll be for a later date. This works for now. I've got, you know, the 2 bulbs in the actual factory taillights. I got the one down here, and then those will function as turn signals as well as brake lights. This one's just a brake light only, of course those. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now before the video ends, I'm going to run to the parts store, pick something up, and we're going to do something that I already did once but had to undo for a couple of reasons. So I'm going to go out to the parts store, pick that up, and then I'll be back and we'll get back to working on this. And then that'll be just about it. Alright, I'm back. I got went out to the other parts store and picked up some lowering blocks. These are 2-inch ones, not 3 inches. So these will make the truck sit nice and level. The back end should sit slightly higher than the front, which is what I want. And then in the future one, like I said, I put a roll pan on the truck, it's going to go up just a little bit more, which will be perfect. That's what I want. And they come with the wedges to re-angle the back end, but I'm not going to need it since I'm lowering it. You only need this if you're raising the truck with it, but since I'm going down, I don't need those. Because the drive shaft is designed to function properly when it's down lower. Say if you got a trailer or something or weight in it, it's supposed to still work like it's supposed to. Of course, if they're worn out, maybe not. But got lowering blocks. We're gonna go put them in. As you guys know, I took the other ones out because the 3-inch ones were way too big. Had to take them out. We got some 2-inch ones down there. Just so you know, a quick heads up: the O'Reilly and AutoZone both sell the exact same blocks. And the O'Reilly ones are like $40, or they might even be more than that. Whereas AutoZone ones are like $22, $23. And they're the exact same thing. And they used to come with U-bolts when you would buy them. They don't come with U-bolts anymore. They used to come in like a kit that had U-bolts, the wedges, and the blocks. But now you only get the blocks and the wedges, and you have to buy the U-bolts separate. Which kind of sucks, but oh well. I've already got the longer U-bolts in there because I bought them separate. And now I'm just going to pull wheels off and stick the lowering blocks in, maybe cut the U-bolts. I'll see if I think they need cut or not. See, I'll probably end up cutting them because they're gigantic. But we'll see. Stick them in there and then set it down. We'll see how it sits. Put it back together. I'm going to adjust the brakes while I got the wheels off real quick. Should be the final time I have to adjust them. And then I think that'll be just about it. I'll be all done for today. And then tomorrow, maybe make a junkyard run or something. I gotta go try to find a muffler strap for my dad's car so we don't have to buy a new one for it. And I want to find the cruise control box and some taillight wiring stuff for this. So I got a couple things I need to go pick up. But first things first, I want to go get all this stuff done so I can drive it out there. Alright, I'm actually at the car wash now. Figured I would go and hose off all the old road salt on this thing, considering there is no paint on pretty much the entire truck. And it's a good idea to go and wash it and get all of the road salt off of it. But it's sitting perfectly level. I'm sitting on kind of like a weird dip, I guess, because of the way this is supposed to drain. So this side is like a little bit of negative camber because the axle's kind of flexing just slightly. But it sits perfectly flush. I am super excited about how this looks. It sits a tiny bit higher in the back than the front, which is exactly what I wanted. And of course, when I get rid of the bumper and put a roll pan on it, it is going to sit just a tiny bit higher, and I'm happy with it. It does handle quite a bit better with the 2-inch drop on it. It handled a lot better with the 3-inch on it as well. Like, it's kind of crazy how much of a difference that little bit of drop with not even much weight being back there makes, but it makes a pretty significant difference. I didn't notice any drivetrain vibration or anything like that from dropping it and the drive shaft being at a different angle, which it shouldn't, but sometimes when they've got a lot of miles on them, they will. This one doesn't, so everything's ready to go. We got everything finished that I wanted to get done today. All of my lights work, including my trailer and lights and stuff. Changed fluids. Just got the whole thing dialed back in. I went and I cleaned the interior out just a little bit as well. Just freshened it up. Just some regular maintenance, and then dropped the back and got some lights fixed, and things all ready to go. I think the next weekend we're going to be doing all new brake lines on the entire truck. Every line on the entire truck is being replaced. Even the one that I had replaced beforehand, I'm going to go ahead and make a new one for it just so I can run it a bit different. And then the 2 on the axle I'm going to redo as well, because I ordered a roll of line that doesn't have painted coating on it, so it'll flare a little bit easier and come out cleaner, and I'm going to change the way that I flare a little bit. I'm going to cut them different. So I'm just going to replace every single line on the whole truck. That way I don't have to ever worry about a line blowing, because I really don't need that. And then I got all new front brakes on the way for it as well. So literally every single brake component is going to be brand new. New master, new calipers, cylinders, brakes, shoes, drums, pads, everything. Lines, hoses. I got new hoses on the way as well. Everything's going to be 100% brand new. I want to make sure the brakes are dialed and ready, just in case I end up needing them when the thing is turbocharged. I don't want to make the thing way faster than it's already meant to be and not have properly functioning brakes. So with all that, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. I want to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.